Going live, going live, going live, going live. Hey. So, first of all, Shecky, are you talking about this over here? You're worried about getting snagged on it? Well, I think it's probably okay. Yeah, I think I don't know. Made that myself anyways. Okay. What's that got to do with bugs? Well, welcome to the superpilotish channel. My name is Graham Wilson and I'll be talking about bugs in my basement. So, yeah, as usual, it's impossible to come up for these, I don't know, topics for for a show, man. You try doing it 3 times a week, you run out of stuff, and then you kind of don't want to be. Oh yeah, that's right. Hey, Corey, uh, you don't want to like repeat yourself or and stuff like that. But so, and then I also don't want to get into like I have my 4 things I don't talk about on this channel: politics, religion, skin pigmentation, and genitalia. So, if you don't have that, what do you talk about, right? So, anyways, hey Dan. So, yeah, I was thinking about. Okay, got the old whiteboard out here. We're gonna make a list, and not this list. I still got it, so that's from my other show. So yeah, I got to remind myself what to do. Yeah, so we got top 5 bugs, top 5 garden bugs. And I came up with this top 5 garden bugs because there's this bee that's been hanging out in the garage. Every time I go in the garage, there's this bee and he's stuck in the window and he's trying to get out. So it's one of these funny little windows that kind of slides up and down. So I have a screen in the bottom, but no screen in the top. So if I slide the top one down, the bee finds his way out and he goes out. Well, this bee, every time I go in the garden, he's just hanging out trying to get out of the garage. And I'm like, you dumb bee. What are you doing? So I was out there again. And I had this 2x4 that had a couple of 3/8 holes drilled all the way through it. So along you got your 2x4s, which is actually 1.5 by 3.5 inches. So I had a hole going through the 3.5 inches way, and this bee, I just kind of noticed he went inside this little hole, just like the bee went inside the hole in the front of my house in the cement the other day. So it's like, what is it with these bees and these these little 3/8 holes that they like to go into? It seems about a good size for them. But then, I was like, okay, well, let's see. I want this bee to still stick around so it can pollinate my garden and clover and all that other stuff when it pops up. So I don't want to kill this bee. So this dumb bee, and I'm like, what's this bee? Like every day, it's like this bee still. It might be a different bee, but they all look the same to me. Oh, that's beeist. But anyways, yeah. So the bee was. So I took the 2x4 and I had a flashlight and I looked in it and there was it looked like it started putting some mud in there or something or laying eggs. So I think my guy bee is actually a female bee. So I'm in the process right now of trying to move this bee from over here on the wall in the garage. I have like her, I guess, by the window now. Then I'm gonna move her outside the window, then move the board up and put it on my garage. And I figure if I can move this board every day, just a little bit, and it keeps coming back and finding it, because I moved it at first and then it went back to the original position where it was. So I waited till it got in. Anyways, I was dealing with this stupid bee for like really thinking how I can outsmart this bee for like quite a while. And so, anyways, I'll start talking about my garden bugs here. Top 5 garden bugs. Yeah, and it's well, I mean, and this will have to do with aviation, believe it or not, because bugs fly, some of them. So, anyways, we're gonna start. We're gonna go kind of a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, number 5. We're gonna have, drum roll, please. Now this is like a really cool bug. I'm a big fan of the number 5 praying mantis because like they're just so cool and they got these like cool skinny little arms and stuff, and they're they're very beneficial for your garden, and so they'll go and they'll attack other bugs. But usually, oh hey Jim, hi, and then so like the praying mantis, they just kind of hang around. Like they don't bite you or anything. They don't bother you. They're just cool to look at, and but they'll sit there and they'll kind of pick away, like aphids, or if you got those little potato bugs, potato beetles and stuff. Those things can like eat your. They like to kind of like anything that kind of hangs out under a leaf during the daytime and lays eggs and eats your plants and stuff. The praying mantis takes care of all these other bugs that want to eat your plants. So praying mantis number 5, very cool. But okay, we're gonna go for number 4, and that is now. I'm kind of thinking more for like a food garden here. Why I like these bugs. Okay, so any type of 4 ladybugs. So you got your red ladybugs, you got your orange ladybugs. Those are the ones, the Japanese ladybugs or whatever. And so ladybugs. I'm going to tell you a story about some ladybugs, kids. Anyways, yeah, when I was living up in Sudbury, we had an old plum tree in the backyard, and I was like pretty old. I was thinking, well, what should I do with this plum tree? And like one year, we got some really awesome plums off of it. I chipped one of my teeth with this plum, and then, but anyways, one year we got great plums. After that, never really worked. So one of the years there, I noticed that there's all these bugs on the plum tree, and I knew that the plum tree always had lots of aphids on it, uh, little white bugs that kind of eat the leaves, and I think they go for the nectar on the flowers too. I'm not too sure about aphids, but they're not good. And so ladybugs, they take care of aphids, and which is cool if you're. It's good to see them on your rose bushes too. So it's like I was looking at these really gross, disgusting looking bugs, and I thought, oh, okay, that's what's eating our plums and stuff. I'm gonna chop it, and then there's tons of them all over it. I'm chopping them off, and they're falling on me and stuff. And I'm like, these bugs are gross. And then later on, I go and check it out on the internet. And it's like they're actually the ladybug larva. Like ladybugs look pretty cute, but when they're all fully developed, but when they're not fully developed, they look like the most gross, disgusting, nasty bug you ever want to see. So it's kind of like I don't know. It's like, and I was like, oh man, I killed all these ladybugs by these I don't orphan baby ladybugs or something. So yeah, ladybugs are cool. And if you see something on your plants that are really disgusting, gross looking, just identify them first. It's probably a ladybug. It's like black with like a yellow, or I guess it'd be kind of a yellow or orange stripe on the back, and looks all gross. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting into some cooler pollinators here. We're gonna go for okay. I don't know if I got the right color for this, but I figure if I use black all the time, it's gonna wear it's gonna run out, and then I got to get another one. So we'll kind of use them all up evenly. Okay. Number 3 is a bee, the leaf cutter bee. Okay, now if you've ever seen a leaf cutter, I never really noticed these things before. And the leaf cutter bee is a very cool bee. It's like I saw just out in the garden, and I see this little kind of a brown, it looks like a bee, and it's like it's carrying like this green leaf, and it's flying along. It's like, hey, it's like got cargo, man. So, anyways, the leaf cutter bee. So what it does is it like it'll make a little hole basically in your garden. If you got like clay soil, it'll kind of find its way into a little hole. These bees, they love 3/8 inch holes. So if it's about that size, bees go right in there. So this leaf cutter bee, I'm like, what? It's carrying this green thing with it, and I was like, what is that? Google it up, and yeah, leaf cutter bee. But the cool thing about the leaf cutter bee, and I thought it's just like being a bush pilot up north, and the leaf cutter bee knows how to carry. Like I'm just thinking about the aerodynamics of carrying a leaf. Like it was a pretty big, good sized leaf, and flying around with it. So like Yeah, I will demonstrate the leaf cutter bee aerodynamics here. I will use this is on the supplementary whiteboard. This one has a little bit of shadow on it, so I don't really use it too much. I think that was the one from the secondhand store. So if you're looking at the leaf cutter bee's head, okay, okay, he's probably got some little antennae. All right. I don't know what. How does that? Does that look like a bee's head? Okay, we got the bee's head, and then I don't know how am I going to draw a bee head. Okay, we're looking directly at him. So then he's going to have a bigger body around here. He's going to have some legs. They got 6 legs. Okay, this is like super awesome. Oh, got to have some wings on there too. So how do you do a leaf cutter bee wing? I don't know. Let's try this. Okay, this is looking better and better. All right, check it out. That's exactly what a leaf cutter bee looks like. So, anyways, yeah. So the leaf cutter bee, he'll use his cute little face here to make a really when you'll see it on your plants. It usually likes to do it for like a very like a young leaf, like a young tomato leaf, or something that's very oh, what would you call it? Something that's very tender for it to cut, and so those leaves usually fall off anyways. So it's not a big deal if it cuts a little circle in it, and it cuts this exact perfect little circle. Or actually, it would be it kind of it's like this little circle that starts at the edge and goes around. Here, I will demonstrate. Here we go. So the leaf cutter bee. Let's say you got your leaf. Here we go. Okay, we'll make it a leaf. There you go. That's a good looking leaf. And then the leaf cutter bee will cut a little circle out of it like this, like that. Okay. And then it takes that and it folds it up underneath here like this. And it transports it like that. So I mean that really that appeals to my pilot aerodynamic sense because you could use that actually as a lifting surface. If you're moving forward, it could act like a wing if you tilt it up. And then so you could actually produce lift with that. And then it would yeah, so you just see it kind of folds it up, and then it kind of pre-folds it, and then what they do is in their hole they'll get that, they'll fold it around, and they'll turn it into a circle, and they'll coat that around they'll put that on the inside of their little mud hole, and then they lay their eggs in it, and then the larvae, when they come out, they can eat the leaf. So pretty cool bug, very good kind of a I don't know. It appeals to like just watching it fly. It's like so like I mean that's the way if you're attaching something externally to a plane like up north, they'll put canoes on the float of a plane. They'll put other things. I heard once that a guy he was transporting a actually okay, we'll get rid of the leaf cutter bee. Then I'll talk about hello, you gotta have okay, we'll draw a little float plane here too, just to describe it a little bit better. So we're gonna look at the front of our float plane. Here's a window. We got our wing on top. We got the floats coming down here like this. They usually look like that and that. Okay, so there's your float plane. You're looking directly at it. It's got the floats here. And yeah, there we go. The best float plane ever. So if you ever put a canoe on the side, got to have a red canoe. So we'll put the red on there. Oh boy, these things are going to dry up. Okay. So if you put your canoe on there, you put it on the side like that. Okay, you wouldn't do it like the leaf cutter bee, or you could sling it. I have heard of them attaching it to the bottom like that. But I heard of a guy. I know this guy, and what he did was he was transporting a the screen door to his cottage up north. And rather than putting the screen door on the side over here, he put the screen door directly on the bottom under here. So what happened is when he came into land, this big screen door under here, it created a bunch of turbulence. So that actually, do I have? Let me see if I got a KD12X here. Yeah. Okay. So if I got the KD12X, if this is a float plane, and so yeah, you have to have air going over your horizontal stabilizer in the back. Can you see that? So what happens is you come into land, and then the okay, you got your horizontal stabilizer here, but you might have like your door underneath, and then this doesn't get clean air, and then it wants to nose over because yeah, this has downforce, so it loses its downforce and it wants to nose over on you. So, anyways, he had a real tough time getting it down. So if you're putting, you got to be like the leaf cutter bee and don't have it go straight across. You can curve it up or put it more on the side. Man, there we go. Little tip for anybody if they want to get into float flying and moving boats around. Okay, I think I'll change color next. We'll go with the classic black. And what is, you know what? Now that I think of it, yeah. Okay, number 2. Running out of room here. I had that written down here somewhere. Okay. Oh, yeah. Leaf cutter bee. Okay, then here we go. Number 2 is the type of bee that was living in my garage, and I'm trying to politely evict this bee. It's the carpenter bee. Okay, now carpenter bees are cool. Leaf cutter bees and carpenter bees. And there's these just fuzzy little brown kind of bees. I'm pretty sure they're native to North America, and they are like regular honeybees. If I'm not mistaken, they're from Europe, and so there's honeybees been kind of. I think they're a little wimpy for our North American climate or whatever. So carpenter bees are good to have around. They make their well, according to the ones I've seen, they see a little hole and they go in it, kind of like a leaf cutter bee, but they don't bring a leaf with them. And I think they do actually kind of they can eat away at wood. I guess that's why they call them carpenter bee. And okay, carpenter bees, yeah, they're cool, and because neither one of those is going to sting you, really, they leave you alone. So here we go. Drum roll for the number 1 bug, man. Here we go. Okay, and I'm running out of room here. There we go. My number 1 is going to be the smallest written here. What will it be? I don't know what it will be. It will be number 1. My favorite bug is the bumblebee. There we go. Bumblebees are awesome. They're nice and furry and cute, and they never ever bother you. Like any of these, like the furry bugs, the furry bees, they never seem to like sting you or anything like that. I mean, if you got a barefoot and you step on one mistakenly in clover, yeah, okay. But generally, if you're out in the garden, they're around, but they never bug you. Okay, I had to say it, I guess. But yeah, and then so any of these here, now that's right, good point there, Shecky. They don't make any honey, these guys here, but for me to do bees and honey, I know a guy that does that, and you got to get everything just right and this and that, and you wear your beekeeper suit and you're doing all this stuff. So I mean, and then the queen dies, and then there's a whole bunch of problems with having honey. I leave that to the pros, and I just buy it at the store. Well, actually, I do buy some local honey here. It just seems to be, I don't know, better. And then I've also heard, like in the States, especially, the food regulations in the US are a little bit looser than Canada, I think. that I saw this one documentary where a guy had he was testing honey that you buy at the store, and I guess you're allowed to call it honey if it tastes like honey, but it can be just corn syrup or something like that. And they're a little loosey goosey. You could have like 1% real honey and call it honey. Um, is So anyways, they were testing for if it's real honey at like a really microscopic kind of level. You can check and there'll be pollen in it still. So some of these honeys that were selling in the US in the grocery stores, they had no pollen at all in them. And it's basically just corn syrup that they call in honey. Put some chemicals in it. So that's why I think if you're buying your honey, get it from some local people that like, oh yeah, there we go. There's Joe's honey farm, and Joe's got his bees out there. I can see him. He's keeping them there. Does it make sense that he would have bees around? Yeah, we're buying apple orchard, we're buying orange grove, whatever, something like that. So that's what I know about honey. Anyways, but yeah. So we're going over the top 5 garden bugs. I was, I guess maybe a special mention. Special mention goes out to the worms, but I don't know. I was going to call this show bugs, but it's like, is a worm considered a bug? Does a bug have to be? Does a bug have to have legs to be a bug, or does the worm like identify as a bug? Or it just got too like complicated, so I just gave up. No worms, but the worms get. I am a fan of worms, and they get an honorable mention. These guys here, okay, praying mantis keeps all the bad bugs away from eating your leaves. Ladybugs, they'll take care of aphids for you. Good for your fruit trees if you in there. Watch out, ladybugs can be kind of gross when they're looking young. Leaf cutter bee, they're just really cool. And carpenter bee, also cool. Oh, that's another thing too that we've girlfriend and I decided to name our pet bee. So if it's still around today, it's been hanging around for I don't know a few days now. So, anyways, we decided to call our bee Pickles. So, we don't really have like dogs or cats or anything. I prefer to have like wild animals and then just name them. Then you don't have to clean up after them. You don't have to feed them or anything like that. So, we got Pickles, Pickles the bee, living out in the garage right now. And then I'll give you Pickles updates as time goes on. Might even make a video, but probably not. And then there we go. Number 1 is bumblebee. Those guys they pollinate all over the place. They don't sting you or bite you or anything like that, and they're cute. So there we go. Top 5 garden bugs. There you go. I pulled it off again. I never know what I'm gonna do. I still have is Wrench in here? Yeah. So Wrench just popped in. Yeah. So I still have it. Wrench's idea of Piper versus Cessna. Oh, I don't know. It's a tough one, but anyways, we'll that could be in the future. But I want to do some good research on that one and make it. I want to back up my claims, take a side, and then knowing me, I'll just flip a coin. Yeah, Cessnas are better. Pipers are better. Yeah. Anyways. But I haven't forgotten about you there, Wrench. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just going to go through and check out, see if there's any questions or anything. Termites. What do we got here? Oh, termites. Corey brought up the termites. I don't know if he thought those were good bugs or not, but termites, the praying mantises will eat termites. I read that. Okay, and then okay. Okay, I'm glad you guys liked my artwork in there, and okay, there we go. So here we go. All right. Yeah, so there we go. We did that. Today is Wednesday. So there we go. So I'll be back on Friday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern, and we'll just kind of shut her down. So here we go. Thank you for watching. Bye.